Welcome back to Lost Legacies.
A Hidden City Book Company production.
I'm Sam.
I'm Matt.
Everybody, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in once again for another exciting episode of your favorite podcast on the internet. Welcome back to Lost Legacies. We're back. We're here. We're talking about another episode of Andor. We're rapidly approaching the finale. It's so close we can almost feel it. We can feel the laser burns coming right over our heads. Before we get into that, Matt, how you been doing? What's going on?
I've been well. And, I suggest...
Okay.
If you have an extra $29.99 lying around...
Okay.
Go to the PlayStation Store.
Okay.
And purchase yourself a copy of Dispatch.
Ooh.
The new superhero game.
Did you get it?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's created by a company called Ad Hoc Studios in collaboration with Critical Role.
Mm-hmm.
And the game, they announced the game like a year ago, so I've been seeing like little like teases and stuff like that. And then a couple months ago, Critical Role revealed that they're working with them because several of their actors are acting in Dispatch.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they also said that they entered into a deal with them. So essentially, Critical Role is like producing through Titmouse, the same company, I believe it's Titmouse, the same, and Amazon, the same companies who make Critical Role's animated series. They're going to do an animated series of Dispatch.
Oh, fascinating.
So I'm like, it's really interesting. You know, it's like this whole other, it's a brand new IP that is just getting started. And a big part of it is because it has the backing of Critical Role.
Mm-hmm.
And Travis Willingham, CEO of Critical Role, he's in the game. And he said that when he met the creators, even before he was cast, he loved them. He loved the way they told stories. And him and his wife, Laura Bailey, also a voice actor who's in the game.
Mm-hmm.
They had dinner and they were just talking about it. And the whole time he was thinking, this is what I want a Critical Role video game to be. So this is what they announced a couple months ago, that like this studio Ad Hoc is going to be making the Critical Role game.
Oh man.
Okay. It's interesting, dude, because you watch it. Okay, and here's the thing. I like this game a lot. There are some things that I'm cool with, but I am kind of like leery. Is that the word? I don't know. I'm kind of iffy about because so one, the gameplay itself in this game, essentially you play a superhero dispatcher.
Mm-hmm.
You're like 911. You tell the superheroes where they go, what crimes to fight, and so it's very kind of almost like a mobile game. Like you're just kind of picking places on the screen. Okay, you go here, you go here. Very kind of like instead of resource management, it's like character management. Okay, you go here. Oh, okay. I don't have enough heroes. They're still resting. Who do I send to this?
Sort of like a tactics game then too. Yeah.
Definitely, because it's like, okay, this mission is going to take more diplomacy. Well, who's the best diplomat I have available? Like, no one. They're all combat ready, you know? But so it kind of feels mobile the way you're just looking at this map and having to choose. And there's also like hacking moments. You get to hack. 75% of this game is like cutscene. But you actually get to make the choices. You know, it's one of those choice-based game. You're in the middle of a cutscene and you're given 3 dialogue options. It's like, okay, cool. So that's cool. It's just kind of it's interesting to me. I've never really played a game like this where it's so cutscene heavy. You're essentially watching a movie. Where you get to kind of decide certain things that happen.
Yeah.
And then when it gets to like combat, and it gives you an option too. You can just watch it cinematically or interactively where you actually get to decide or do the thing. So in the beginning, there's a huge like combat scene and you get to, okay, press X now, you know, and you block or whatever. Press X now, you punch. So so there is interactivity in the cutscenes. So I'm like, wow, okay, that's nuts. But so that is fun. The quote unquote mobile aspect to it, that's fun too.
Mm.
And I think it's just because the writing is impressive, the voice actors are so good. I'm pretty sure all the Critical Role cast is in this somewhere, some more than others. But even the non-Critical Role people are really good. Uh, and the animation style just looks so good, so fluid. And it's really interesting because I don't know how long they were making this before Critical Role jumped on.
Mm.
Obviously,
Okay.
they were in some part of it because they were auditioning Travis Willingham,
Yeah.
before any of this collaboration started. Because as soon as the game starts, you watch it and you're like, "Oh, dude, this is this is Legends of Vox Machina." It's very the humor is very Legends of Vox Machina.
Okay. Okay.
It's very crude. I won't say it goes to like the levels of The Boys, which is a very dark, mean-spirited humor.
Yeah.
It's more Vox Machina style.
Okay.
And of course, you could tell streamers worked on this. Even some of the other voice actors are streamers, because as soon as you start, you're given options like, do you want to turn the nudity off?
Ah, okay, okay.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Do you want to replace the soundtrack with copyright-free soundtrack? I was
Oh,
like, okay, that's interesting. So if
yeah.
you're streaming it, you won't get in trouble. And just
Yeah.
little things like that. I was like, wow, this is nuts. But yeah, all in all, it's a solid game. It's episodic, so they're dropping 2 episodes every week for like a month. So
Oh,
there's only
okay.
2 out so far. Uh, my main complaint is they're so short. I was like, damn it.
Yeah.
So that's frustrating, but at the same time, that gives me hope that they're going to do multiple seasons. Because
Mm.
according to the menu, they have 8 episodes planned that will be dropped within the month.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, cool. So hopefully that means we'll get more seasons as we go,
Hmm.
especially if Critical Role's making an animated series of this, you know? You
Yeah.
you would think that there's more game coming. So it would just be weird if Dispatch is over this time November,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Yeah.
That would be pretty crazy.
Yeah. I'm also curious if they're going to do comic books or what, because like they have digital comics. If you spend the $10 to get the digital upgrade, which I didn't, you
Mm.
get all this art and comic books. And I'm kind of tempted to, just because I like this world and I like all these characters. And the last thing I'll say about it is, listeners, Sam and I have we've been making a list, at least I have over the years, of just random superhero ideas,
Oh yeah.
but like not the cool ones, you know?
You're
Just
not doing the cool ones. I'm doing the cool
yeah, I'm
ones.
just like I just want a misfit team of superheroes, um, the ones that aren't on the Justice League. I just came up with one the other day. Uh, oh yeah, luck. That tells you all their powers. They have the powers of luck,
Mm.
but small luck. Like you always find good parking luck. Like
Oh,
that's
okay.
it.
So
That's your
less like
power.
long shot from the X-Men where
Yeah.
like he's got like crazy luck powers, but like
Yeah.
this guy's like, no, I got to the counter of the restaurant and five other people walked in behind me while I was ordering, so my food's gonna
Mm-hmm.
come out first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Uh
exactly.
okay, okay.
So yeah, just stuff like that. Just super. I don't want to give any of these ideas away, so I'll just give you some
Sure.
examples of the ones I came up with. The irrelevant sulk. That's all I got so
Okay.
far.
All right.
Chomper. He's just a guy with really strong teeth.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. He's not immune or strong. Or he just has really strong teeth.
Really strong
Uh,
teeth.
hindsight, he could see the future, but only after it's happened. The last one I'll give you is Suds.
Mm.
Part man, part soap, all hero.
Wow.
Yeah, those are the kind of characters that show up in Dispatch. Like, oh, I guess also I should tell you, like the main thing about the plot is like you're a former hero,
Mm-hmm.
and you're in charge of the Z team, which is essentially former villains trying to be heroes.
Oh,
So like your
fascinating.
team, you have like 8 heroes you control, and
Mm-hmm.
they're all former bad guys, and they're all dicks.
Of course they
But
are.
just through like the first 2 episodes, I'm like, damn, they're kind of growing on me. Every single one of them. I'm like, oh man. So if you have an extra 29.99, go get it. Go get the game. It gets you
Hmm.
full game, so you don't have to pay like each episode. Um, and then you just basically wait once a week when they drop 2 new episodes. So I'm kind of just waiting at this point. I'm like, well, I'll play again in a week.
So you did finish both episodes?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh wow.
So
Okay.
and the music,
Mm.
incredible. Definitely, as Stranger Things meets my favorite Miami Vice. Just very synth heavy score, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's
and
fascinating because it like a lot of this feels just like the old Telltale system.
yeah,
Um,
very much so. Hmm.
yeah, even like getting not necessarily getting like straight combat scenes like in
Hmm.
a Final Fantasy or something, but like no, like okay, here's the combat, press X rapidly or hit
Yeah,
Y and W or whatever, like at the same time. I don't know why I said W. It's just another letter.
that's a big controller.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
have
it's a
all the
huge
letters up to
controller.
W. Yeah.
I need more thumbs.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, because even like Telltale's like Batman or the Game of Thrones game, like they followed that system, and I think they even dropped them like incrementally. I think it was more like a
Right.
monthly thing that they did, but yeah, because I remember playing at least like the first quote unquote season of that
Hmm.
Batman game. Man, that was fun. That was
Yeah.
yeah, that was so rad.
And
Yeah.
well, I was gonna say it makes sense why this style of game would fit Critical Role, because it's a Critical Role is a D&D game and it's all about
Mhm.
storytelling choices. So you want a game system that focuses on the storytelling aspect of it.
Yeah.
Um, One thing I will say though that kind of has me nervous is uh what about the combat, you know? The
Yeah.
whole Dungeons and Dragons experience is built around magical combat.
Mhm.
So your characters are built around that. So even if it's not a Dungeons and Dragons project, it's Critical Role. All the characters they created are built on this chassis of magical combat.
Yeah.
So and there's so much choice involved in that, you know? So like I don't think the way Dispatch is right now would exactly fit Critical Role. Like the
Mhm.
storytelling aspects, yeah, and like interactivity in the cutscenes, sure. But I still think at some point you're going to have to be able to uh customize your characters in some form, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So in
Agreed.
this you get to choose, like when someone levels up, you get to choose, well, where do you want to put the points, into their charisma or into their combat prowess or what, so you could do that. But still, like all the characters of Critical Role are so known for like their certain abilities and stuff. I feel like there needs to be some part of that you have a say in or control.
Mhm.
That's even assuming you get to control the Critical Role characters. Like you might just be making your own and you step into that world.
I was about to say, like, what if it is something like you get to make your own character and then you are interacting with Vox Machina, you
I
know?
would love that so
It's
much.
like the stuff of our dreams, where we've
Yeah,
talked about, hey,
yeah.
what characters would we be if we were in the
Hmm.
campaign?
But then even more so, you need to double down on the character creation. You need to be able to
Yeah.
really customize your own, protagonist in that case.
Yeah.
So,
And then kind of same with the combat. It's
mhm,
like I feel like it's better. I feel like it's good for I guess like this style of storytelling and gameplay for
mhm.
Dispatch, but for like a Critical Role game, it's like it's hard because in my mind I'm just like, well, I mean, I would just want to have a Baldur's Gate 3, situation, but that's like
Yes.
yeah, that's
If
the
that ever
dream,
happens, it's a long time away. I mean, I
Exactly.
wouldn't be surprised if they end up doing something more, making it a Daggerheart game,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
listeners, which is the TTRPG game that Critical Role ended up making,
Hmm.
which is, I guess, built around more storytelling
Yes.
choices than D&D. Which if everyone should go listen to the Ghostfire podcast, which focuses on TTRPG news. They just had a really good episode this week drop about D&D and streaming and the idea of almost like this game, like are you watching the cinematic experience or is it interactive? And there's this real kind of um shift that's kind of happening, and they talked a lot about D&D and inadvertently was comparing it to Daggerheart, and
Mm,
how, when Daggerheart came out, everyone was saying like, I think this is my new vehicle for like my fantasy games. But now that more people are playing it, they're kind of saying like, no, this is a very specific game for a very specific person.
yeah,
So, and I've never played Daggerheart, but this is what I've been saying since the day they made the announcement of Daggerheart. And I'm like, yeah, like it's just extremely difficult, I think, to capture that storytelling heavy flavor in a game
yeah,
when you try to put game mechanics to your storytelling, you know? It almost feels like it's constricting you in a way.
yeah, yeah.
So, yeah. But yeah, so go check out that episode. Go check out Dispatch. I'm excited to see what Critical Role does next and what
Mm,
what happens next in this world of Dispatch. So, yeah.
hell yeah.
So after that aside, yeah, I'm pretty good too.
Do we do we have any more episode left? I don't know.
I know. What did you get up to last night?
Oh man. Uh last night I went to the movies and I watched Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein.
Nice.
It was good. It was really good.
Nice.
Um yeah, I couldn't have any thoughts in my head last night.
Mm-hmm.
Like after that we went we got out, it was like close to 9:30 when the movie ended. We still hadn't eaten dinner, so we just grabbed something really quick. We ate. I was just kind of on my phone for like 30 minutes and I was just wiped. I was exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
Also cuz I was working like a whole day, before we went to go to the movie. Um but yeah, I- it was an overwhelming experience in sort of the best possible way. Um, yeah, I really liked it. I don't know if I loved it,
Mm.
which is an interesting thing to like to think about. I think in I think it was it's it's one of those things where you're like, this is the thing that I've been waiting for a
Mm-hmm.
long, long time. And
Mm-hmm.
now it's finally here. And then it happens, and I don't know what to do now.
Yeah.
It's like it exists. Great. I'm so happy it exists. Now what do I do?
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
yeah, but yeah, like it is interesting because of sort of like the deviations it takes from Mary Shelley's story. Also deviation from like a lot of other versions of this story, like introducing like certain characters, um, or just like the way certain characters interact in this version as opposed to any of the other versions. Um, so yeah, so it is interesting, uh, but also like I think it captures the creature's story
Mm-hmm.
in such a beautiful way and does it in such a way that there are very few other adaptations that I've seen do it to this extent and do it well. Because I think that's kind of the thing too. Like you're trying to find the duality whenever you're doing a Frankenstein between, you know, Victor and the creature. And I think it's sort of easy to muck up the creature side of it by just making him, you know, innocent, or not innocent, but like bumbling. Uh,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you know, and making Victor a little too crazed. But too crazed in a way that's like, I'm just an insane man and not really getting into like the psychology of like, why is this guy who the way he is?
Mm-hmm.
How does his upbringing affect him? Why is he even doing this to begin with? Is it just for the science of it?
Mm.
And no, like I think this version gets both Victor and the creature, down to a T, where it's like Victor is doing this specifically to I mean, like it's not, I guess, spoiler for, hundreds, like an over 100-year-old book. But he's doing this because he couldn't save his mom
Mhm.
because his mom died. And this version also introduces the aspect of doing it to spite his father, to best his father, and
Mhm.
then kind of in doing so, like it's almost the reverse, where it's like yes, like he's very against like the laws of nature and the laws of God, like I defy God, but in that it's really rooted in this idea of like, well, my father, who was God to me for years,
Mhm.
uh, couldn't do this, couldn't save my mother, so I'm going to defeat him and defeat his
Mhm.
memory, supplant
Mhm.
him in that way. And the creature is just like, well, the creature has always been, what is like the creature is this idea of what happens when man gives birth rather than when woman gives birth.
Mhm.
And when man gives birth, what are the things that men instill upon it that is not instilled upon,
Mhm.
when it is through a mother, through a woman. Um, and there is this lack of warmth. There's this analytical side to it. Uh, and of course, Victor being Victor no longer has that warmth that he sought as a child, has slowly, unfortunately turned into his father and now treats his creature, his creation in the same way that his father treated him. But
Mhm.
doesn't see that, can't
Yeah.
see that. But yeah, it's great. Oscar Isaac's great. It is a little, like I'll say like the performances are a little goofy.
Mhm.
um Almost kind of feel it's interesting just from what I've seen of the Kenneth Branagh version. It kind of feels a little like the Kenneth Branagh version
Mhm.
for a bit, except Kenneth Branagh's version is very from the clips I've seen, just very like overblown, very theatrical, because he gives that sort of like big theatricality to all of his performances.
Right.
um and in a way, it kind of feels like the subtle version of Kenneth Branagh's
Hmm.
version. Uh, but I think Jacob Elordi killed it. This is the first time I've seen him in a movie. I know he's been in a lot of other stuff. But just from this role alone, I'm like, yeah, this guy's going places. This guy's got a career.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, yeah,
Cool. Well, I have to check it out probably next Halloween.
yeah. Probably next Halloween.
So, not that, we want to compare movies, but I've heard a lot of people saying that this is their movie of the year.
Hmm.
So, how would you compare this with Sinners?
Sinners is still my movie of the year.
Okay. Nice.
Frankenstein is number two.
Nice. So it's
Um,
still up there, yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's still up there. Yeah, because I don't know. Maybe I'll have to watch it again. Maybe I'll like, because again, I know I just spent like this whole time kind of like praising it and talking it up, but yeah, there was something that I don't know what I was looking for that I felt like was not necessarily there. I think it's sort of like the inclusion of a character uh that doesn't necessarily like take away to the story but also doesn't really add anything. So I'm
Mm,
just kind of like, well, why is this character here?
yeah.
um and it also feels a little strange where like, you know uh Frankenstein has always been, the story of men, like
Hmm.
men, trying to supplant God and all of that. And it has always been lacking in women, in its characters and
Hmm.
in its storytelling, um at, at least in like the adaptations, you
Right.
know um like the interpretation of Elizabeth throughout the movies has always been a little weird. I think this one really gets it a lot better. But it is just sort of weird that like there's so many other men in this movie. There's so many other like male characters in this movie that I'm like, I don't like, even if they're here for like a scene or two, I'm like, I don't care about these guys. Like I'm
Yeah.
here for this. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I still have to sit with it, but as of right now, it is very solidly like
Nice.
number two. Yeah.
Okay. I've been seeing more and more clips from Luc Besson's Dracula, A Love Story. And
Uh-huh.
I was shitting on it, man, but now I'm like, I kind of want to watch this. I'm really fascinated by the performances and just Luc Besson's style just is always um out there, you know.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about a little cheesy, you're like, okay, all right, but
Yeah.
with something like Dracula, I feel like you can get away with that, you know,
Yeah.
especially because we've seen it's done so many times before. Um,
Yeah, definitely.
but yeah, it's you can't find it anywhere. It's only released in France so far, so it's not streaming or anything. But I keep seeing
Mhm.
clips online. I'm like, damn it, I gotta watch this movie. Um, so yeah, and then they keep playing it with like these cool like goth like industrial music or whatever. I'm like, oh,
That's
well,
my that's my thing. I'm like, I feel like the like whatever track they're adding into it is really selling it a lot more for me. And I know that's not the score of
yeah,
the movie.
yeah. That's we're gonna have to see, you know, what the actual movie sounds like. But
It's like
that's
put
a
some
lot.
evanescence over Dracula just clawing into
Well,
the love of his life's
there's a
grave.
lot
I'm
of
like,
stuff because of
hell yeah.
TikTok that's like that. Where I forgot what I was watching, but there's like a really dramatic scene, and the music they're playing. Of course, it's like some band somewhere, and you're like, man, this really slaps. But then
Yeah.
when you actually watch the movie, you're like, oh. The scene's completely different when you don't have that music in there, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And this kind of goes back to a discussion we had a long time ago of like, what does the future of film look like in a TikTok world? You know, are we going to get more music, maybe not so much score, but like actual music, like tracks from bands licensed for these films, you know,
Mm.
because of that. Or who knows? Maybe are we going to start getting more montages? Who knows? Like, hmm.
Maybe unfortunately though, I feel like it's just kind of a thing where it's like Hollywood is going to be behind the trend no matter which way
Hmm.
you cut it,
Hmm.
because uh something that can be very, very popular on TikTok, somebody sees it at the right time, and be like, "Oh, we got to put that in the movie." Well,
Sure.
the movie's going to take, at least a year to get off the ground, and go into production or
Right.
whatever. And the thing about TikTok is that all like the trends are
Fast.
so fast. Yeah, like
Yeah.
what's popular now won't be popular in three
Well,
months.
and what I'm really excited for though is I'm excited but also scary. Like people who grew up with TikTok,
Mm,
like what kind of what art are they gonna put out? Because like I'm not on TikTok, but you didn't
mhm.
grow up with it, you know?
Yeah.
Your early social media was other stuff, you know? Were you ever MySpace?
Oh yeah, dude.
You were? Okay,
Yeah.
so MySpace, I just saw a little TikTok thing of this guy just like looking off, staring into some emo song playing in the background. It says,
Mhm.
me thinking of me wondering who my top 8 friends were on MySpace the last time I logged out. I was like, oh yeah.
Oh
I
yeah.
wonder if like that page is still out there somewhere. It's gotta be.
Maybe.
Anyway,
Yeah.
but yeah, like I'm kind of curious, like what's gonna happen when the kids who grew up with it from a young age start writing movies and making
Mm.
movies and editing. You know what I mean? Like I want to
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
Granted, we might also start getting a lot shorter films, but but who knows? Like I'm curious to see how they use the music because
Yeah, that's a good
music is
point.
such a like a deal breaker for me in your movies. You know, like I'm kind of curious to see what happens
Hmm.
um, with that. So I don't know. We'll see. You just have to keep getting older and we'll just find out, I guess.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do we talk about today?
Speaking of getting older, we're talking about Andor, season 2, episode 11. Who else knows? In which Cassian goes back to Coruscant for one last extraction.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think, Matt?
It was solid. The penultimate episode before the series finale. Um, I wouldn't really say it feels like a penultimate, but
Yeah.
I was really expecting some kind of closure from this, because I think this is the first time in Andor history where it's straight up, no, this is part one. This is part one of a story. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. When it ended, I was like, oh crap, okay, all right.
Yeah.
That which was just really weird. Um,
I had to pause because I had to go do something really quick. I had to
mhm.
pause and I looked at the time left and I was like, oh, it's like 8.5 minutes. That's perfect. Like this is gonna be great. We're gonna get some cool stuff. Went to
Yeah,
go do my thing, came back. No, it was just like 2 more minutes of stuff because then the rest were credits. And I'm like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
okay. Like that really took like the wind out of my sails for the episode. I was like,
I
oh, okay.
I like I wonder what goes on. Like I guess behind the scenes wise, you have to deliver so many episodes because I was thinking like this and the last one should have just been one episode.
Yeah.
Like this was all set up for whatever we're going to get next episode. Um, and not saying that it doesn't stand well on its own. It does. It was a solid episode. I had fun. Just the intensity is racked up so high now,
Hmm.
but it definitely feels like a part one and not like early Andor where they were really taking their time drawing things out. It's like, okay, we'll get a resolution to this in like an episode or two. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, no, like I thought all of this was going to wrap up in this episode and then it ends on a cliffhanger. I was like, oh crap. Okay.
Yeah.
So now we have a better idea of what the final episode's going to be. Um, I think the downsides to this is the same thing we've been saying for weeks now. Uh, it's happening so fast. I don't
Hmm.
understand why Clea just wants to stay there and die. You
Yeah.
know, like I
Yeah.
get that she has issues with the rebels on Yavin. I don't know. It would have been nice to see that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because it just doesn't make sense. I'm like, are we made a point in season one for Luthen to deal with that and to deal with Saul and trying to balance these petty differences. We've come so far, and now are we still dealing with that? Is that what's happening here? She
Yeah.
mentions how Yavin, none of them are like really fond of Luthen, and I'm like, okay, but is to me, I have no justification of why she would rather just stay there and die. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
same thing with the Deidre story arc. I'm just like, kind of what we said last time. Like, okay, I guess this is her fall from grace. It just happened so quickly, and it seems almost insignificant. And like the fact that they get Krennic out doing his super overly evil performance, which was fine, you know, because I mean
Yeah.
we know that's his character at this point. But it's like, wait a minute, like I guess it just I didn't really understand the severity of her screw up. You know, like
Yeah.
it's yeah, it's just it's frustrating because they have all these they're telling us that this stuff is important instead of showing
Showing
us.
us. Yeah. Yeah. Rule number one.
Yeah, and I'm
Um,
like, oh man.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
again, it goes back to the decision to wrap it up in one season. Like even if like what we got this season, you know, I could easily see you doing two seasons and then actually getting to explore some of these other characters and these story arcs instead of just condensing it down so tight that we don't really get any substance. Or not that we don't get any substance because there's a lot of substance to the show, but it's
Yeah.
just so quick. It's a feels like a quick notes version, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I hate to compare it, but because I feel like there was so much more time and probably less uh like, well, maybe just about as much going on behind the scenes, but like kind of reminds me of Solo.
I never
How,
saw it.
really?
Yep, I still haven't watched Solo.
Oh, wow. Okay. Uh well, Solo kind of has the same problem that this season does,
Hmm.
where it's like this is good, this is fine. Um but it also just feels like I'm watching a Wikipedia article is
Yeah,
what Solo feels like.
yeah.
The biggest problems of Andor. Now, to be fair, like this season of Andor is much better than Solo.
Hmm.
Um, which I still enjoyed the movie for what it was. But this season is a lot better. But that's kind of the issue that I have with it is that like we're rushing through all of these things, and it feels like we're hitting plot points in an article that's saying this is why this was significant. You
Yeah.
know, the like everything on Gorman for the most part felt earned and
Hmm.
felt, the most lived in. And I was like, this could have been your whole entire season.
Yeah.
And then and then your season 3 could have been, okay, now we got to get everybody, now the wheels are turning against us and we're on the run and we've got to
Hmm.
join the rebels. We've got to get Mon out. We got to get Clea out.
Right.
Um also, like, give us more Luthen. Luthen was such a huge character in the first season, and I feel like, his stuff, his scenes and his story in this are not insignificant.
Yeah.
They're all done really well, but it feels kind of like we're shirking, this character off, kind of in the same way that, like, we haven't been focused on Cassian for a lot of this season,
Yeah.
you know?
So I think I don't know if it was during season one or season two or in between, but Stellan Skarsgård at some point suffered a stroke and
Mm,
and he's basically said that he can't memorize lines anymore.
okay.
So all of his acting, basically he has the earpiece and they're feeding him his lines.
Mm,
And I'm like, damn. So I wonder if that has something to do with how little we saw him this season,
potentially,
you
yeah.
know? Because I mean, definitely he was much more heavily featured in season one.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah. So I mean, I just feel like it's a mix of things happening out of the creator's controls. It was the strike, it was what happened
Sure.
to Stellan and Diego Luna getting older.
Hmm.
Uh, so I get that, but at the same time, wrapping it up in one season was just a bad idea. So
Yeah.
this episode though, awesome. I loved it. I dig that Melshi's back and he's just down for whatever.
Yeah.
I love K2SO. I'm like, yes, man, he's back. It's so cool.
Hmm.
But at the same time, the whole time I'm like, it's good to see K2. I don't remember Melshi from the movie, but like, okay, like he's cool to have here. Where the hell's Vel? Why isn't Vel on this mission?
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I feel like, and again, I feel like a broken record at this point. I don't know if Tony Gilroy worked on this
Yeah.
because there's so many things about season one that Tony Gilroy did that just aren't in this season or was just kind of basically hinted at. And I wonder if that's part of it. I wonder, like, he kind of helped come up with the story, but at some point, and again, I mentioned I don't remember when, but I remember hearing that he left the show at some point.
Yeah.
But he's still involved. He was still doing all the press for season two, so he's still like credited as showrunner. So I don't know how true that is. I don't know if that meant he just stopped writing and he was still show running, or he just straight up left after he did his 3 episodes,
Hmm.
but he still came up with like the blueprint.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know. I think Dan Gilroy, his brother, has written a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know where Tony Gilroy fits in and out of this season, but so much of it just storytelling style is runs like counter to the storytelling style of season one, which was so solid.
Hmm.
So I don't know, man. And I feel like we're kind of being a little harsh because look, it was a solid episode. I had fun, like it was intense from the first minute of this episode.
Hmm.
Um, but at the same time, it's like we have the benefit of watching it in hindsight. This is the final product, and it's like we could easily, you know, get me the files for this and give me OBS or DaVinci Resolve, and I'll edit this into a better story. Like that's what I don't understand. Like I'm not working on Star Wars, but I feel like I could fix your issues.
Mm.
So I don't, if I could do that, someone who isn't even a fan of Star Wars anymore until Andor, I'm like, I just feel like, how did this happen?
I mean, look, we've speculated how did this happen,
Yeah,
kind of ad nauseum at this point. Truly what it is, it's just that, if Tony Gilroy was not involved uh at this point in the
right,
series, then it is just a too many cooks situation.
right.
There's too many people, trying to, okay, well, we've got to bring in the rebels. We got to tie into Yavin. We got to
Or
do
it's
this,
just
do
a
that,
misunderstanding, you
Yeah,
know?
or that, so then it's like, okay, like that's fine. It is what it is.
Yeah,
Um, you know, and again, it's like I did enjoy this episode, and I
yeah,
enjoy this episode for what it is. Looking at it from the whole, within the bigger picture, I'm like, well, okay, yeah, it's kind of a jagged puzzle piece, but
hmm,
it's still a good episode.
yeah,
And I like the
yeah,
stuff that we got.
yeah.
Um,
Same.
and yeah, and I'm as far as it being a part one, it's like, okay, well then I'm hoping that we just start out right out the gate next episode, just getting the resolution to this, and then that being like the 1, 2, 3 setup to,
Yeah.
Rogue One.
And I'm thinking like, okay, like they took so much time for Clea to try to explain to Cassian the info she knows. She's got to die. Because otherwise, what was the point of spending so long focusing on that, trying to tell him the
Mhm.
details? I'm just like, crap. I don't know.
I don't know. Although I don't know, uh I think it's also a thing where it's like, I don't think Cassian is probably retaining this information, but he has no context for it, you know?
Yeah,
Not in the
sure.
same way that Clea does,
Yeah,
you know? Um,
yeah,
so I don't know. I'm like, I guess this is it. Like this is the big key, like this is
yeah,
the final set piece we're gonna get,
yeah.
an escape off of Coruscant.
And I do like how like frantic it is, this storyline, because like,
Hmm.
oh wow, this is not the start, but this is like the beginning of the end. This is what leads to Rogue One, and that's what leads to taking down the Death Star. And the
Hmm.
fact that like it wasn't a nice long drawn out plan or story. It's like, nope, Lonnie delivered his message. He's dead. Luton delivered a message. He's dead. It's like happening
Hmm.
so fast. It almost feels like Rogue One in a way. Like everyone who's involved with this is giving their lives just to get this little. It's a major piece of information, but it's just like it feels like a USB. Here,
Yeah.
take this. This is going to save the world. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
You know. So
Which is, I mean, which ends up, like that's kind of the thing, that Leia has that she gives to
oh,
R2 in A New Hope. That's like, it is essentially like a
sure.
USB, or
Yeah.
a floppy disk
Yeah.
of here's the plans for the Death Star.
Yeah.
Also, they finally said it in this episode,
Yeah, they named it.
they named it,
It's some kind of
um,
star of death.
a
Whoa.
kill planet.
A kill planet.
That's mine. That's my kill moon.
A planet chewer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't feel like it's a case of like you mentioned too many cooks in the kitchen. I honestly feel like it's people not understanding, like the writers not understanding what made the show so successful.
Mm.
I feel like just an example would be like, okay, well, how did season one end and why was it so good? Like, oh, well, look at this amazing action set piece and all the dramatic music. Okay, cool, let's do that. And they don't really take into account that this has been built upon from the 11 episodes before,
Yeah.
and it was built upon the writing and the power behind the words of Marva's speech and Nemec's manifesto,
Hmm.
and the acting performances. Like it's all of the really good, juicy storytelling stuff that made it so good.
Hmm.
And I mean, look, I had a lot of issues with the pacing of season one. I really don't have issues with the pacing in season two. It's just weird that it's like stop, start, stop, start, stop, start, because we're doing all these time jumps, which
Yeah.
sometimes it's worked, other times it hasn't. Uh, but yeah, so I don't know. I just feel like it's a misunderstanding of like what Tony Gilroy did that was successful.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I'm excited to see what happens next. I'm super nervous. We got 46 minutes of this show left. Considering that the
Yep.
credits are super long, we probably got about 40 minutes.
Oh, I thought you were
So,
gonna say they're super long. We got about like 20.
right.
Uh,
So like I don't know. Are we going to see more of the Yavin? Like, are we going to see anything from them, or is this just going to be an escape from Coruscant? Like, I don't.
Considering the way like this show goes, I feel like, I feel like we'll get both. You know, we'll wrap up we'll wrap up everything on Coruscant, end on Yavin, probably end with Cassian like learning, hey, I gotta go meet my contact who's at the beginning of Rogue One, and then that's it.
Right.
You know,
So I
because that
feel
because that is how Tony Gilroy said like this ends literally like in a lead up to Rogue One. So I'm
I
like,
mean, I
I
don't
don't know
I
what that means, but
at this again, I don't know if Tony Gilroy was involved in this. Like maybe it does. Maybe he means that in a way of like, yeah, this happens within the same year, or this happens within the same story arc, or no, literally it ends when Cassian's gonna go meet his contact. I
yeah,
feel like there's just so many different ways you can interpret that. So who knows? Um, I all I want is I want to see Willem. I want to see Bix. I want to see Vel. I want to see Mon. Because this episode, I
yeah,
was thinking, I was like, wait, have we seen the last of her?
mm,
Like, because
yeah.
that's
I don't
it.
know.
She could be done for the show. And like, crap.
Yeah,
I feel like no, like we'll see her finally join the rebels at the very end.
hmm,
Maybe she'll give a speech or something. I would hope. So, because the speeches in the show have been phenomenal.
yeah,
So I hope that they're able to end on something high like that. Um, but yeah, man, like I don't give us something, and also the fact that we have so many characters who aren't in Rogue One. I'm like, okay, are we gonna find out their fates? Do they all die? Do some of them die?
mm,
That's why I'm thinking something has to happen on Yavin, or they need to go out and do something, maybe help the escape from Coruscant. Like I don't know.
yeah,
I feel like there's too many variables, and I'm afraid the show's going to end without answering some of these questions. And I don't know if this is the kind of show where we would want those questions unanswered, you
yeah.
know?
I mean, I don't think anybody wants that in any show, to be honest. But
Yeah, true.
it is kind of an unfortunate thing with Star Wars where we get product A
Yeah.
is this one thing and it's wholly done, and
Yeah.
then okay, now we're gonna backtrack and product B is the prequel of this character story that leads into or like gives more
Right.
context to this, or then product C, which is like in between where they're still alive and this is how they still help, but they're not involved in the mainline movie. It's like
Yeah.
it's that kind of thing, and truly like that's kind of what both Rogue One and Andor is as a show.
Yeah.
It's all in the service to the original trilogy Star Wars.
Yeah.
So but yeah.
I yeah, I mean you do have to keep in mind that a lot of that was like post, you know? A lot of that interacting was post. It was
Yeah.
after the movies had come out, after the prequels had come out. So it was done in a way to add to something, you know? So
Hmm.
like the prequel movies are not affected by which characters are or not there, are there or aren't there, or who leave or what. Uh it's only recently until like the other shows started coming out where you get more of that. Oh, so and so's gonna leave, blah blah blah. We might not see them again, but even then, like Rebels, like those stories are tied up. That's the end of their story. Although, if you watch Ahsoka, you're gonna see more.
Yeah.
If you go watch the Mandalorian movie, you're gonna see more because I know one of the guys is in that.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I don't know. It's just, um, I guess the big example is what we talked about last time, and like Luthen. I didn't know he died because Dave Filoni has talked about working on a project where he's gonna use Luthen. So I
Mm,
assumed he survives. But I'm like, okay, I guess this is before he dies at some point. We'll
yeah.
see what his story was. So now I'm kind of curious. The characters I thought who were going to survive, I'm wondering, do they actually survive or not? Who
Yeah.
knows?
I
I
don't know.
just, I just don't. It's one thing to get like the Andy Serkis character who vanishes, leaves, we never see again, or like the really sweet girl in the very first episode of the season for the
Hmm.
Empire. Like those are like side characters, you know? But to get our actual like main quote unquote main cast, like I feel like we need some kind of resolutions on their stories.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Well, maybe we'll find out next time in our
Yeah.
very last episode of Andor, season 2, episode 12, Jeddah Kyber Urso.
Oh, I feel like I've been activated like Winter Soldier. Yeah.
I've been activated to kill Imperials. Ah, I'm gonna punch the Death Star to death.
I love when K2 was talking about being on the Coruscant. I was here once for a parade. There were 200 K2 units. The Emperor was here. He's almost like he was proud, you know?
Yeah,
And Cassie's like, sorry if I missed it or whatever. And I'm like,
yeah.
yeah. Oh man. K2, what a character.
I will say that like this episode had a lot of like had a lot of like fun moments between its characters,
It
you
felt
know?
very Star Wars, you
Yeah,
know? Yeah.
yeah. And I think like that's kind of it was nice and it was a
Yeah.
nice little bit of levity, from like the seriousness of Andor.
Yeah.
But I feel like especially this season, like this season has been, I mean, again, everything with Gorman.
Yeah.
Even our Imperial characters are, not having a great time, like
Dude.
Deidre's just like in a prison now.
Yeah.
She's in a holding block and she's with like freaking, I was he's not the character, but I like thinking of Krennic in the same way I like to think of Skeletor, in that he's just an evil guy,
Uh-huh.
and being there is just like it's so weird because it's like, yes, all of these people feel very real, this world feels very real, and then you have this evil cartoon villain show up who's
Yeah.
just like here putting his finger on top of her head,
Oh,
like
dude.
grabbing her face like with both
Yeah.
hands. I'm like, man, there's an air about this guy. It's the way that he's played, that he's just like,
Yeah.
this dude exudes just evil
Yeah. And
in a way that like even like the Emperor and Vader don't,
yeah,
you
it's
know?
it's also such a violation of Daedra.
Yeah.
Like someone
Yeah.
who's like very like you don't touch her. They never say it at any point, but just seeing her relationship with Cyril and everything, like she's someone who's not touched, you know?
Yeah.
So to have that, I was like, holy crap, dude. Like,
I think that's kind of
man.
the thing too. Like the Empire also kind of gives that vibe. Everything's so clean and sterile and neat and precise,
Right,
and all this
right.
stuff. And then here's this guy who is always has his arms crossed,
Yeah,
like has the veneer of that same, neatness, tidiness,
yeah,
but at any second is going to put his hands on something. And
yeah.
like that's such a creepy thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
Mm-hmm.
and he knows that he can get away with it because of his position, because of his rank. Like he can do that. And that's why it feels so gross, just to put his hands on someone. And I'm like, it's terrifying.
Yeah. And
Yeah, I
it's
love,
crazy to see
yeah,
how all the ISB people now, like they're falling. Like it's like,
yeah,
oh crap,
yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, it's all from the Empire. It's not even any rebels doing anything. It's just it's
It's just
this
them.
this is what you were building.
Yeah, it's them, it's their work ethic, it's the entire mission statement coming after them,
Yeah, exactly.
And
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, this is what you were fighting for. This is what you guys were building. The
Yeah.
machine that the machine that you build to eat people will eventually eat you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's so crazy because it's like now I'm worried about Daedra. Now I'm worried about Partagas. I'm worried about these bad guys. Like what's gonna happen?
But that's good writing, like that's good storytelling right there.
I love, yes, it is. I love that Partagas has been in this entire show. Like that
Hmm.
could have easily been a character where we don't need him.
Yeah.
with characters like Daedra, but I'm glad they gave him the time. Same thing with Lonnie and this other guy who was gone forever, and now he's back in his last couple episodes, who is like
Yeah.
the new Daedra. I'm like, I like that. Those are all really good things, and uh, seeing all these different characters kind of like rise in the ranks, fall, move back, move around. It's like the chessboard. It's like watching the chessboard. You see in all these little pieces.
Yeah.
You know, now this pawn is one of the last or most crucial pieces on the board.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of rad to see in that way uh, the tactics of the storytelling.
Yeah.
So yeah. So we'll see what happens. I'm excited for one last episode.
One last ride.
I'm already sad, man. My heart's already breaking. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
End of an era yet again.
yeah. Yeah. We'll talk more about it next week after we wrap it up. But like, I have a
Yeah.
lot of feelings about this show, mostly positive, and compared to going into it, and I was nervous about it, So
Yeah.
yeah. So until then,
Until then, listeners, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being here with Matt and I, going on this voyage, talking about superhero video games, talking about adaptations of, gothic sci-fi novels, and getting into your favorite Star Wars show, Andor. We'll be back here again next week talking about the final episode. Hit us up, social media, #Lost Legacies. We'll find it. Yeah. Until next time, everyone. Fight the Empire.